Chapter 1. My parents reversed the car 3 times. From the bus to the train to the high-speed rail, when I rushed to meet my future daughter-in-law. The fiancée is busy fulfilling her childhood sweetheart's birthday wish. Be his lover for a day. They did everything a couple should do. Holding hands, hugging, kissing. So I threw away the ring, tore up the photos, and never had any contact with her life again. But at this time, she begged me not to leave her alone. When we saw the update posted by Xia Fenglan's childhood sweetheart Qian Xiao, our whole family was waiting for her. Wait for my fiancé to come back for the engagement party. But the table was full of banquets and the room was full of guests, but the person who was supposed to come was nowhere to be found. The two of them took a close photo on the Ferris wheel, with the caption, "When the Ferris wheel reaches the highest point, if you kiss your lover, you will keep going. Thank you Fenglan for fulfilling my birthday wish and being my lover for a day." The smiles on their faces were blindingly happy. I made a call, and Xia Fenglan muttered, "I forgot to turn on Do Not Disturb," and hung up. When I called again, I got a cold, busy tone. I know she has set me to Do Not Disturb again. She was so immersed in the identity of childhood sweetheart and one-day lover that she forgot that she was still my fiancé. I also forgot that tonight is the day when our two families sit down to discuss marriage. She casually said that she was only free today. My parents took a bus, then a train, and then a high-speed train, and only just managed to arrive today. I came to Xia's house without much rest, and now I feel very uneasy. They kept smoothing their exquisite dresses, which they rarely wore. He looked nervous and asked me in a low voice, "Jianqing, Fenglan doesn't want to see us? If you had known we wouldn't come, you could have just informed us of your marriage. Why did you have to discuss it with us? We are country folk and have never seen the world. Coming here would only embarrass you." When I saw my parents' timidity, my heart felt like it was being cut by a knife. He forced a smile at them and explained palely, "Fenglan is too busy. It has nothing to do with you." I quietly told father and mother Xia where Fenglan was going. They were angry, but there was nothing they could do. Both sets of parents sat down to the most bland, silent, awkward meal ever. There was not much discussion about the wedding because the person who could make the final decision did not come. After dinner, I took my parents back to the hotel. Looking at the constantly updated location photos of Qianqiao on my phone, my heart sank. They wore couple outfits, they licked an ice cream together, and they had a romantic Western meal under the dim candlelight. Just as Qianqiao said, Xia Fenglan is his lover for a day today. I turned off my phone, but my mother was still chattering at me. "Fenglan is busy with work, you should be more considerate. You should also give in to her when you quarrel. You should also treat your father-in-law and mother-in-law the same way you treat us. After all, the Xia family has been kind to you and sponsored you to go to school until you get a master's degree. This is a favor we can never repay." I suddenly interrupted, "Mom and Dad, if Fenglan and I can't get married, will you feel ashamed?" My tone was serious. They stared at me for a long time before they let out a long sigh. "Even if you don't get married, you should remember to repay your gratitude. There are no ungrateful people in our Zhou family. It's better not to get married. It's too painful to be with someone who doesn't care about you. It's too painful." Chapter 2. I pondered all night, and the next morning I knocked on the door of Uncle Xia's study. "Uncle, I have decided to help Xia's company develop new business overseas." He sighed after hearing this, "Jianqing, you must not act on impulse. Going overseas to open up new land is not only a difficult environment, but you will also have to stay there for at least 5 years. Can your relationship with Fenglan withstand the test of these 5 years? I know that Fenglan and the kid from the Qian family have been having a lot of trouble recently. Uncle doesn't have the face to ask you for anything, but you have to think about your future." I shook my head and said seriously, "Xia's family has been supporting me and allowing me to complete my studies. I should give back. Fenglan is in charge of the group and cannot be shaken. Others also have their own duties. I can get the best of both worlds by going overseas. I am very happy to be able to repay the Xia family. As for the relationship between Fenglan and I, let it take its course. I'm tired too." Uncle Xia signed the appointment letter for me with guilt. In half a month, I will go overseas to show my talents in a new place. I returned to the bedroom with the appointment letter and met Xia Fenglan, who had just returned home. She looked at the document in my hand and asked casually, "What is this? What did you ask my dad for again?" I felt sad and angry. I don't know why Xia Fenglan kept believing the rumors made up by Qian Xiao. She always felt that I was not satisfied with the financial support from her family and often asked for resources from my uncle and aunt. But apart from the tuition paid by the Xia family, I didn't ask for anything else. I even repaid my tuition fees after I started working. If Xia Fenglan is interested, she can check the card that she gave me when she said she wanted to support me. I haven't taken a penny from it. Or she could ask Uncle Xia for confirmation. But she didn't. I was decisively accused of being greedy. Whenever I tried to explain, she would defend Xianxiao. Hey, why do you take Xiaoxiao's casual remarks seriously? I felt a long-lost sense of powerlessness towards her. I was so angry that I almost asked that question out of revenge. Does one-day lover also include the evening? But I stopped. Because even if I really questioned him, I would only get unreasonable responses from him. Xia Fenglan didn't care how ugly my face was and accused me. Why did you make so many calls again? Didn't I say that I wouldn't answer anyone's calls when I was with Xiao Xiao? I suppressed my emotions and replied with my head lowered, but yesterday was the day I had dinner with my parents, and the elders on both sides waited for you all day. Xia Fenglan suddenly realized, oh, I forgot. Xiao Xiao suddenly decided to celebrate her birthday, and I was busy preparing for several days. I completely forgot everything. I smiled sadly and asked, didn't you set the time today? Just because you said you were free, my parents took several buses just to meet you, and you dismissed them with a casual forgotten? Xia Fenglan frowned impatiently, so what do you want? Chapter 3. Time cannot be reversed. Why do you always dwell on trivial matters that have already happened? Your parents will definitely not leave right away when they come to City A for the first time, so you can find some time to visit the scenic spots together. When they return to the village, they can brag to your relatives that you are the most promising child in the entire village. She said that and giggled a few times before going to the bathroom. But I could sense the meaning behind her words. The emphasis she placed on the words most promising served as both emphasis and irony. Just because I accepted financial support from the Xia family, and because I fell in love with this rich girl, all my current successes and achievements have been labeled as a gigolo by outsiders. In the past, Xia Fenglan not only told me not to listen to their bad words, but also helped me fight back and scold those long-tongued people. But now, she has become the one who uses this to attack me. Is it a refreshing thing to watch me being stung and choked so hard that I can't speak? The dragon slayer eventually becomes a dragon. Xia Fenglan, have you forgotten that it was you who was chasing after me back then? I stood there thinking silently, and when I saw her drop towel, I subconsciously picked it up. When I came to my senses, I had already walked to the bathroom door. It must have been a fuss. Don't you know what kind of personality he has? It's so annoying. I have to accompany his country parents to visit scenic spots. I don't know what kind of person he is, but it's certain that he has never seen the world. I hope he's not too vulgar and doesn't smell too bad. Where are you looking? It's annoying. Her voice was shy. Xiao, my one-day lover orders you not to install a camera on me. The hand knocking on the door stopped abruptly, and the bath towel fell to the ground without me caring. I didn't want to hear the rest of the words. I turned and went into the study, trying to numb myself with work. Stop yourself from thinking about whether they are chatting by voice or video. I originally still had hope for this relationship. My parents have always regarded Xia Fenglan as their future daughter-in-law, and always praised her for being smart and capable and being able to take charge of the Xia group at such a young age. But I didn't know that in her heart, my parents were still uncivilized, stereotyped, ignorant, stupid, and unhygienic country people. No wonder after all these years of being together, she has never thought of visiting my hometown. She was probably afraid that the dirtiness and poverty there would pollute her eyes. Never mind. After my parents finish touring City A, it's time for me to leave. I'm going to quit this love game. Chapter 4. The next day, Uncle Xia invited my parents to visit the scenic area together. Xia Fenglan took the initiative to take over the job of picking people up and arranging routes. Maybe it was because Uncle Xia had hit her. At this moment there was no impatience on Xia Fenglan's face. She looked sensible and gentle. When Mom saw Xia Fenglan coming to pick me up in person, she thought we had just had a small conflict yesterday and we made up now. So she praised Xia Fenglan again and insisted on stuffing the red envelope that she had prepared long ago into Xia Fenglan's hands. Xia Fenglan's repeated refusal was of no avail. Fenglan, this is the first time I meet you. This is a little gift from your uncle and aunt. You must accept it. I happened to be standing behind my mother and saw the disgust and contempt that Xia Fenglan inadvertently revealed. I took a deep breath, pulled my mother's hand and interrupted her enthusiasm stiffly. "Mom, give it to me, we should go." I was driving, and my father wanted to sit in the passenger seat so that the two of them could develop some relationship. But Xia Fenglan got on the passenger seat first. I understand that she doesn't want to sit with my mom. She was afraid of smelling bad odors. Along the way, Xia Fenglan kept playing with his mobile phone, sometimes laughing, sometimes frowning. My parents talked to her several times, but she either didn't respond or just answered casually. After so many times, I was afraid of making my parents sad, so I can only tell them that Fenglan was quiet because he was carsick. However, they can still tell the difference between real perfunctory and fake motion sickness. I'm just holding on to this precarious window paper. The atmosphere finally eased when we arrived at the scenic spot. Although Uncle Xia holds a high position of power, he is witty and humorous, making people feel warm and at ease. Aunt Xia also tried her best to find common topics with my mother. It made me sad. The four elders are trying their best to maintain this relationship. And what is Xia Fenglan doing? She held the phone tightly in both hands, as if she was dealing with something urgent. Her brows were furrowed, and even when she turned around, I had to pull her sleeve. Uncle Xia saw this and couldn't help but scold, "Fenglan, everyone is sightseeing and chatting. Why are you still holding your phone? How can you be so ignorant?" The next second, Xia Fenglan saw the incoming call on his phone, his face full of anxiety and apology. "Sorry, uncle and aunt, I have something urgent to deal with first, and I will be back soon." After saying that, she ran away without waiting for a response. Let my parents' dry replies float in the air. I remained silent. What's the urgent matter? Wasn't he a Qian Xiao who called? The note on the incoming call reminder clearly showed Xia Fenglan's dog. That was set by Qian Xiao himself. Xia Fenglan's nickname in Qian Xiao's mobile phone is Qian Xiao's cat. They always like to express friendship in these little things. Uncle Xia smiled dryly. I patted my parents' shoulders soothingly and continued shopping with them. I even took great pains to tell a few jokes to make them laugh and took photos with them. After all, this is their first time in City A, and I don't want them to have unhappy memories. So even if Xia Fenglan broke his promise again, I didn't show up in a bad mood. However, we turned a corridor. I thought the scenery I would see would be pavilions, towers, and beautiful trees. But we never expected that what we saw was. Standing in the center of the crowd, Xia Fenglan, who had just used the excuse of having something urgent to do, was now hugging a tall man tightly. The man looked aggrieved and even shed a line of tears. Xia Fenglan comforted me softly. I have never seen her so gentle. She wiped away his tears with her hands and even kissed his forehead devoutly at the end. Chapter 5. This is not the first time I have seen Xia Fenglan and Qian Xiao so close. But this was the most shocking time for me. I felt completely lost inside. There were a huge crowd of people around, but Xia Fenglan was not afraid of the onlookers' stares at him at all. 9H rabbit equals? Rabbit QF story 3 MYYJ house DIWC take, F this one article, do not PC private I8 move or transport. ISNT this kind of openness what I wanted most? But every time she would just say that it was too embarrassing and awkward to be intimate in front of others. So, what now? Maybe I paused too long, and others finally realized something was wrong. Uncle Xia exploded in anger and shouted, "Xia Fenglan, what are you doing?" I suddenly thought of my parents beside me, who were staring at me in shock for a long time. He looked at me with confusion in his eyes, and only when he saw my sad gaze did he seem to understand. Angry, ashamed, and heartbroken. My mother held my hand tightly, and her tone seemed to be extremely tired. "Jianqing, Mom is tired, let's go home." Dad nodded as well. "Listen to your mom and buy tickets for both of us. The wheat at home is ripe." I tried not to let the emotions well up in my heart, and to hide the strong nasal tone, I just nodded heavily. "Yeah, okay." Uncle Xia in front was still pointing at Xia Fenglan's nose and cursing. Xia Fenglan seemed to be trying to explain, and Qian Xiao also interrupted from time to time, but they never let go of each other's hands. There are many tourists on the road, but few people are returning at this time. I'm not a good person. I earnestly told my parents, "I'll buy you plane tickets. This way it's quick and painless. After you leave, I will also go abroad to help Xia's group expand its overseas business. Don't worry, Mom and Dad, even if Fenglan and I are over, I will not be an ungrateful person and will not let you down. I will definitely repay Xia's kindness." Dad patted my shoulder heavily and said, "Good boy. Although we country folk are poor, we are not servile. You must remember what I said today. Chapter 6. After seeing my parents off on the plane, I finally realized what was happening and turned on my vibrating phone. In order to be able to receive Xia Fenglan's call as soon as possible, I once set her call to vibrate. This way, you 1T disturb others and you 1T miss any news. But now, my phone has been vibrating for an hour and I haven't noticed anything. When love is covered by disappointment, perception has completely blocked her news. A screen full of messages came into my sight. Where are you? Answer the phone. Xiaoqiao was cheated in a scenic spot alone, and I rushed over to help him solve the problem. The kiss on the cheek is just the most common etiquette between Western friends. If your parents misunderstood, 1T, you explain it for me? My dad said that if I don't apologize to your parents, he won't let me take over the company. What kind of magic potion did you feed him? The whole family is so good at retreating and scheming. Xiaoqiao is right, the country people will do anything to get what they want. As long as you give them a little bit of good face, they will climb up the ladder. The message showed it was withdrawn. But she didn't know that I had an anti-withdrawal program installed on my phone. I know exactly what she posted. Why didn't you answer my call? My dad locked me up, won't you come and save me? I thought about it, Uncle Xia is not in good health, and he won't be able to hold on to the position of interim president for long after locking up Xia Fenglan. I'm leaving anyway, so I might as well end this farce here. I returned to the Xia family, and Xia Fenglan showed a happy expression when he saw me. You're finally back? I knew you wouldn't let me watch as my dad punished me. My dad is just making a fuss. You're so generous, how could you be angry with me and my best friend? I ignored him and just said, go do your work first. But for the first time ever, she chose to follow me, like a puppy following the road. Seeing me packing clothes into the suitcase, she offered her hand to help. Dad said you're going to do business out of town, so bring more clothes. This indigo suits you best. When Xia Fenglan first took over the company, she was very busy, so I helped her go out of town to run business and attract investment. She also helped me pack my luggage, picked out suits and ties, and prepared my regular medicines, just like she does now. Many instructions. But all this changed after her childhood sweetheart Qian Xiao returned home. Her free time is occupied by Qian Xiao. She began to doubt whether I had any ulterior motives in getting to know her, falling in love with her. I also believed that everything I gave to the Xia family was just to curry favor with them. So, she still loves me, but there is always doubt in her heart. After cleaning up, Xia Fenglan was still in high spirits. Let's go out to eat, there's a Western restaurant that tastes pretty good. Seeing that she hadn't contacted Qian Xiao all day, I couldn't help but feel soft-hearted. I thought maybe Uncle Xia's punishment was too harsh. So he agreed. We drove to a Western restaurant and I was stunned by the decoration and the dishes served. Isn't this the restaurant where she and Qian Xiao ate when they were one-day lovers? At this moment, I can't even laugh if I want to. Chapter 7. I curled the corners of my mouth slightly and dared not hope for anything more. I just want to finish this meal quietly and part ways in peace. But when the waiter knocked on the door, what he brought in was not the dishes, but a man. A man who always pretends to be innocent in front of Xia Fenglan, but always speaks ill of me when they are alone with me, Qian Xiao. There was a smile on his lips, but the meaning was unclear. Brother Jianqing, I asked Fenglan to invite you here. I heard that your parents came to City A for the first time, but I didn't have a good time because of me. I feel very guilty, so I want to treat you to a meal to make amends. You shouldn't be angry with Fenglan, right? She left suddenly for a reason, and she didn't mean to disrespect your parents. You should understand that, right? He apologized on the surface, but in fact he was demonstrating. I turned around in surprise and met Xia Fenglan's unsurprised eyes. Only then did I understand that Xia Fenglan's unprovoked kindness towards me and taking me out to eat Western food was just in response to Qian Xiao's request. I didn't say anything and the atmosphere remained silent. Qian Xiao looked at Xia Fenglan aggrievedly again and smiled bitterly. It doesn't matter if brother Jianqing doesn't forgive me. If you don't welcome me, then I'll leave and won't disturb you and sister Fenglan from having a candlelight dinner. After saying this, he took a step and was about to leave. But Xia Fenglan stood up first, grabbed his arm, interlocked his arms, and pulled him to sit beside him. While complaining to me, she placed the knife and fork on his table. Xiaoqiao has already apologized, can't you just say it's okay? It's so embarrassing to leave him standing alone. Let's eat together, don't bother with him, a grown man is so stingy. She placed the cut steak in front of Qian Xiao. He even shared with him the red wine he had just taken a sip of. Watching Qian Xiao deliberately licking the edge of the cup where Xia Fenglan left his lip marks, I suddenly fell into a trance. I should have felt the pain and stood up and questioned loudly. But when I think of my parents' elderly figures, their deep eyes seem to always be saying, never let yourself be humiliated. I finally let it go. My mind and body suddenly became clear, and I even thought about whether I should take my parents abroad with me. After all, they have lived for so many years and have never seen the scenery of foreign countries. While I was daydreaming, I didn't notice that Xia Fenglan went to the bathroom. Suddenly, Chen Xiao stopped talking and showed his worst character to me. His tone was full of pride and arrogance. The wedding is ruined. To tell you the truth, I deliberately let Fenglan accompany me that day. I just wanted to know who was more important in her heart, you or me. The result is obvious, Zhou Jianqing, you lose. How can you possibly compare to the relationship between Fenglan and I that has lasted for more than 10 years? If you, a bitch, hadn't taken advantage of the situation, how could Fenglan's fiancé have become someone as lowly as you? Uncle Xia is really blind. He can't see that your whole family is just a bunch of treacherous villains who are trying to curry favor with the rich and powerful. Chapter 8. I raised my eyebrows to look at him and said calmly, why don't you pretend anymore? The Sacral Sutra is a very beautiful and clean sutra. You two were childhood sweethearts, so why didn't Xia Fenglan stay chaste with you? Instead, a poor student like me took advantage of her and took advantage of her? Besides, I've never heard Uncle Xia mention you. Why can't you win the favor of your father-in-law? Are you too useless? His expression suddenly changed, and he said sternly, who knows what your relationship with Uncle Xia is? I'm really curious, out of so many students, why does he favor you so much? Is it because you are more comfortable serving him? I picked up the ice water and splashed it on his face, saying coldly, watch your mouth. After all, I don't know who will see the video. Don't come to me crying when your carefully disguised image is exposed. You are trying to sow discord in every way, isn't it because your eldest brother controls the Qian family's business, and you, a loser who is not loved by your father and mother, can only rely on selling your body to exchange for resources? Talking about marriage is flattering you, after all, you can't bring any dowry to marry into the family. At this time Xia Fenglan suddenly came back. Chen Xiao's face was still filled with anger after his conspiracy was exposed by me, but he had to pretend to be aggrieved, and his whole face was distorted. Fenglan, I just wanted to pick up some food for brother Jin Xing, but he threw water at me and told me to stop bothering you. He also said he would teach me a lesson. I don't understand. We are just friends, why did he react so strongly? Xia Fenglan didn't even look at me, nor did he intend to listen to my explanation. He picked up the ice bucket with ice cubes on the table and threw it at me. Didn't I teach you that if you're bullied you have to fight back? I'll take care of things if they get out. The sharp ice cube scratched my face and left blood on it. The icy water chilled me to the bone. If I remember correctly, she once said this to me. When I was in college, my father fell ill and needed 1 million yuan to save his life. When Uncle Xia heard the news, he paid my medical expenses without saying a word. There were many gossips saying that I sold myself out to get that much money. It was Xia Fenglan who took me to find those rumormongers. Call them one by one. He taught me as he beat me, if you're bullied, you must fight back. I'll take care of things when they happen. And now, Xia Fenglan was only concerned with helping her childhood sweetheart and issuing warnings to me viciously. This is the last time. If you bully Xiao Xiao again, then we won't get married. I've never seen a man as petty as you. Just like your country folk parents, you'll kill yourself over the smallest things. You deserve to be poor and destitute for the rest of your life, you country bumpkin. Chapter 9. It's really strange that I can accept that Xia Fenglan doesn't love me. But I couldn't accept her insulting my parents. I didn't want to pay attention, so I got up and left, ignoring Xia Fenglan's calls. I came to the company and found Uncle Xia to handle the overseas assignment procedures. But what I didn't expect was Uncle Xia decided to remove me from the company. Jianqing, I will remove you from the company and give you a sum of money. In the next 5 years, you will focus on overseas expansion. 5 years later, if you are willing to return to Xia Corporation, I will give you a director position. If you are not willing, that's fine. I will support you in starting your own business. I have only one request. If Fenglan is desperate one day, you help her. After saying that, a sum of money sufficient to destabilize the Xia Corporation was deposited into my account. I wanted to refuse, but I couldn't reject Uncle Xia's earnest look. Don't worry, Uncle. I understand. He has a head full of white hair and has burned out all his energy running the company alone. Therefore, Fenglan could not afford to make any mistakes when taking over the company. After I signed, I couldn't help but say, Uncle, my relationship with Fenglan is over, but don't blame me for being nosy. Xiao only wants money and power, and is definitely not a good candidate for marriage. If you have time, you should persuade Fenglan more. Uncle Xia smiled with relief. Jianqing, Uncle hopes you can find your own happiness overseas. I nodded, but saw the first photo of Xia Fenglan and I on the desktop. At that time, Xia Fenglan had just learned that Uncle Xia had sponsored me and thought I was Uncle Xia's illegitimate son as rumored. He stormed into my dormitory aggressively. Where's Zhou Jianqing? Come out. I opened the door, but she grabbed my hair and forced me to take a photo with her. In the photo, I had innocent doubts in my eyes, and she was furious but couldn't hide her high spirits. She threatened me, wait until I do a paternity test, stinky brother. As long as I'm still here, you'll never be able to enter my house. When we met again, Xia Fenglan apologized to me like a quail under the pressure of Uncle Xia. I'm sorry, I thought you were my father's illegitimate child. I offended you. I'm very sorry. Please forgive me. She sounded pitiful, and Uncle Xia said that if I didn't forgive her, he would suspend her card. I wasn't offended, I just thought she was cute. I have always treasured that photo. After that, Xia Fenglan gradually broke into my world. Later, he even took out a card and said he wanted to support me. Everything my dad can give me, I can give you. Be my boyfriend, and you must listen to me from now on. Don't tell my dad about me anymore. I refused and told Uncle Xia what she said, and then Uncle Xia suspended her card. She didn't come to see me for 2 days out of spite. On the third day, she came with a big bouquet of flowers and said she wanted to pursue me. He saved a seat for me and brought me breakfast every morning and made me a large cup of brown sugar water when I caught a cold. He even placed heart-shaped candles downstairs of my dormitory and sang his confession on guitar. Finally, I couldn't bear it anymore and agreed. I even asked her where she learned the strategy of pursuing men, but I didn't even notice the gender of the girl. I originally thought that since Xia Fenglan had hurt me time and time again, I would also hate the high-spirited Xia Fenglan in my memory. But the amazing thing is, it didn't happen. I took the photo away. Use it to remind yourself forever. The Xia Fenglan who loves me was framed in the memory frame and will never come back. Chapter 10. No matter how Xia Fenglan treats me, I should repay Uncle Xia's kindness. So as soon as I landed, I went to investigate the market and contact for cooperation. I didn't pay any attention to the news in China. Little did I know that after I left, the Xia family had become a mess. The huge amount of funding caught Xia Fenglan's attention. She ran to question, Dad, where did you transfer so much money? It must have been given to Zhou Jianqing, right? What kind of magic potion did he give you? I am your daughter, right? Why don't you just tell me frankly, is he your illegitimate child? Or is he really having an affair with you? Otherwise, why don't you train your own daughter and support that country bumpkin instead? It was this sentence that made Uncle Xia so angry that he almost couldn't breathe, and he went straight to the ICU. However, the first thing he did after waking up was to let Xia Fenglan watch 3 videos. Fenglan, ever since Qian Xiao returned to China, you have always misunderstood Jianqing, and even treated your lifelong partner as an enemy. Dad won't say much, but I hope these videos can help you see the world clearly. Xia Fenglan stretched his neck and looked at the big screen reluctantly. The first video clip shows a young Qian Xiao racing recklessly on a domestic racetrack. While other players were abiding by the rules of the game, Qian Xiao was pursuing excitement and drove his car out of the stadium, regardless of the dividing lines. The in-car video showed that he saw an obvious figure on the road but did not stop. Instead, he continued to accelerate and ran over the figure under the car. Qian Xiao was suspected of intentional homicide. The Chen family spent most of their favors and equity to suppress the news, and sent Qian Xiao abroad under a different name. You can get the answer if you ask any of your childhood friends about this matter. Xia Fenglan was stunned and said, No. This is impossible. Xiao Xiao is very timid. How could he deliberately drive fast and kill someone? Dad, this is not a video you made up, right? Uncle Xia shook his head and played the next video. Qian Xiao, who had already gone abroad, was surrounded by a group of foreigners. In the smoke, Qian Xiao was smoking something, looking excited and shouting, Long live freedom. There are endless blonde beauties around him and gambling tables behind him. The supervision in foreign countries is lax, Xianxiao is getting more and more rampant, and he is involved in prostitution, gambling, and drugs. If he hadn't lost all his property and was afraid of debt collectors coming to his house to demand his life, he wouldn't have returned to China. The Chen family has given up on him, and other people don't bother to pay attention. Only you simply think that he is being excluded, and are willing to be his ATM. Xia Fenglan widened his eyes, trying hard to digest what his father said. But, why did Xiao Qiao lie to me? We are obviously friends. Uncle Xia sighed and opened the meal video I recorded before I left. The wedding is ruined. I did it on purpose. I want to know who is more important to her, you or me. Zhou Jianqing, you lose. How can you possibly be better than, you bitch took advantage of the situation? How could a lowly country bumpkin like you possibly could be Fenglan's fiancée? Who knows what your relationship is with Uncle Xia? Is it because you are more comfortable serving him? Xia Fenglan stared at the person on the screen who was completely different from the usually docile Chen Xiao. It's possible that the first two videos were face-swapped, but it's impossible for the last one. Because she saw herself attacking Zhou Jianqing without any reason. Xia Fenglan's heart was suddenly shocked. Dad, where is Jianqing? I want to go find him. Chapter 11. Uncle Xia didn't tell me where I was. Fenglan, you have to think carefully. Xia Fenglan sat alone in the office, trying to recall the lover who had accompanied her from campus to society from her recent memories. But her mind seemed to be deliberately working against her. He kept replaying how he had ignored him, hurt him, even insulted and driven him away because of Qianxiao. When he worked hard, she suspected that he was close to her because of his power, but she forgot that it was her persistence that won her over Zhou Jianqing. When he was filial to his parents, she, like everyone else, suspected that he had ulterior motives and wanted to become a phoenix man, but she forgot that it was her father who took the initiative to support Zhou Jianqing, and Zhou Jianqing was filial only because he had a good character. When he brought his parents from the countryside to discuss the engagement, she was confused and thought that just as Qianxiao said, his family was full of scheming villains. She even flirted with Qianxiao out of anger and finally ruined the meeting with her parents. But she forgot that it was she who promised Zhou Jianqing that they would be together for the rest of their lives. Xia Fenglan suddenly slapped himself. Then he searched around the office like crazy, but found nothing. Where's the group photo? Where's the painting Jianqing gave me? Where's the evergreen tree Jianqing gave me? At this time, Qianxiao rushed in with a strange look on his face. Fenglan, I heard that my uncle was sick and Zhou Jianqing didn't even come to visit him. Isn't he an ungrateful person? Didn't you say that a huge sum of money disappeared from the company? It must be Zhou Jianqing who ran away with the money. Fenglan, sue him immediately. This is all the hard work of the Xia family. Xia Fenglan raised his head and stared at the man in front of him until his face stiffened. Xia Fenglan was sure that Qianxiao was excited just now. Her voice was cold. Zhou Jianqing is gone, my dad is sick, are you so happy? Qianxiao, if I find out that you lied to me, you should know what will happen to you. No. I didn't. Qianxiao paused, his tone softened a little. Fenglan, did Zhou Jianqing frame me? I knew that he secretly recorded the video that day, just to maliciously edit it to discredit me in front of you. Fenglan, you have to believe me, you are my only friend, and I value you more than my life. Qianxiao said these words with ease. Xia Fenglan felt awkward. It seemed as if I had been maliciously led by Qianxiao. She ran home alone, trying to find any trace of Zhou Jianqing in the house. However, they found that from clothes and shoes to household tableware, not even a written note was left behind. The whole house is empty. It was as if he had never appeared. Xia Fenglan suddenly realized what his father meant. What Qianxiao said was not credible, and the video her father showed her could not be fully trusted either. She could only find the answer herself. Chapter 12. 2 years later, after visiting all the participants in the car race, she finally pieced together the truth. The man who was killed by Qianxiao in his pursuit of excitement was a new father. In order to see his child one day earlier, he walked 20 kilometers home. But just 500 meters away from his home, he was hit and killed by Qianxiao. There is no reason, only the rich kid's disregard for the law and indifference to human life. Even after the accident, the victim's family fled to another place because of threats from the Qian family. Xia Fenglan also learned about Qianxiao's reputation from his friends who were studying abroad. He is uneducated, indulges in a life of debauchery and indulges in all the 5 vices. After finally finding out the truth, Xia Fenglan could no longer tolerate Qian Xiao hiding by her side disguised as a harmless little white rabbit. She found Qian Xiao disgusting. I also felt disgusted with myself for having trusted Qian Xiao and constantly hurting Zhou Jianqing. She reported the evidence of Qian Xiao's intentional homicide to the police. When Qian Xiao was arrested, his expression changed from total denial to constant begging for mercy, and then to insults and abuse. All in just 2 minutes. When searching Qian Xiao's house, Xia Fenglan saw what he had believed to be true. Zhou Jianqing secretly dated the daughter of the boss of a rival company, and it was Qian Kaiap's photo. The chat record between Zhou Jianqing and his friends complaining about the Xia family's eldest daughter being too difficult to please was forged by Qian Xiao. The recording of Zhou Jianqing and his father asking for money and resources was also synthesized by Qian Xiao. No wonder. No wonder Zhou Jianqing has to refute and explain every time. But I never have the patience to listen. She got the truth, buried the victims with honor, comforted the victims' families, and won their gratitude. But I still feel empty inside. Zhou Jianqing's parents traveled around the world and there was no news from them. Xia Fenglan originally wanted to contact Zhou Jianqing through the company. But the Human Resources Department told her that Zhou Jianqing had left the company long ago. There was no one around her. She could only study the business plans and work reports written by Zhou Jianqing, as well as his prospects for the development direction of Xia's company day and night. Try to infer in which city Zhou Jianqing might develop his career. She kept looking for that figure in every possible city. But nothing was achieved. She also went to Zhou Jianqing's hometown. The building is empty. She stood alone in the place where Zhou Jianqing grew up, fantasizing about what would have happened if she had not been bewitched by Qian Xiao. Then maybe I have already married Zhou Jianqing. They support each other at work and hide back in Zhou Jianqing's hometown during vacation. Xia Fenglan wanted to slap himself for looking down on Zhou Jianqing's parents and hometown. The scenery here is obviously beautiful with clear water and pleasant scenery. In 3 years, she traveled from domestic to foreign countries under the pretext of investigating the market. Finally, in a city in North America, I saw a familiar figure appear on the city's big screen. Forbes Global Billionaires list number 20 business rising star Zhou Jianqing. Chapter 13. When I saw Xia Fenglan again, I was in a trance. She was more mature and reserved than before, but there was an indelible sadness in her eyes. I don't know how she found me, contacted my secretary, and sat at my desk. I just took out the contract I signed with Uncle Xia. Because my parents are very used to the weather here and have no plans to return to China, I decided to return 10 times the funds I once received to you. What do you think? Should I transfer it directly to your card, or inject capital into Xia's company? Xia Fenglan rarely flinched, his hands frozen in mid-air. I'm not here to ask you for money. I have been looking for you for a long time. I have been to every city in China and most cities abroad. Now I have finally found you. I am very happy to hear the news of your success. I hummed softly but didn't say much. Her words no longer caused any waves. Unfortunately, this is the only transaction between us. She suddenly changed the subject. 3 years ago, I sent Qian Xiao to jail. I'm sorry, I didn't know what kind of person he was back then, and I let him slander you, and I even doubted and slandered you. I'm sorry, Jianqing, can you forgive me? Jianqing, we haven't broken up yet, right? I went to your hometown and saw the beautiful place where you grew up. I read through all your plans and understood your ambitions and dreams. I promise that I will be the most perfect partner who understands you best. Give me another chance, okay? I chuckled, looked at the clouds outside the building and sighed softly. But, Xia Fenglan, you know me from the past, the me who loved you before, not me now. You have fallen behind for so many years, how can you catch up with me? Here's the contract. Please sign it and send it to me. I promised Uncle Xia that I would help you no matter what happens to you in the future. There's no need to discuss anything else. I'm still very busy. Sorry. I poured a cup of coffee into the green plant on the table. The first photo of Xia Fenglan and I is buried here. The coffee poured now is a tribute to youth. Goodbye, Xia Fenglan. Never see you again. End of article.